a brand new Intercontinental Champion, a brand new #1 contender for the Royal Rumble, and a really jam-packed Raw. What is going on out there, world? It's your boy, Tommy, on the spot. Thanks so much for joining us today at Watch Along Wrestling. We're going to break down the entire episode of Monday Night Raw, which emanated live tonight from Memphis, Tennessee, right down by Beale Street, right in Jerry the King Lawler country, right in Jerry the King Lawler territory. He was even on the show for a brief cameo. I thought, honestly, it was a jam-packed show. It really did. And the cliffhanger of needing a new #1 contender really, in my opinion, kept you engaged, kept you wanting to watch the rest of the show. And I thought they did a really good job with it tonight. So for those of you guys who have not watched the show, let me start by just kind of giving you guys the 411 on what you missed, because you missed a lot. If you didn't tune into Raw tonight and you had to figure Raw was going to come out swinging tonight, no Monday Night Football, no even the college football is now finished. All of it's finished. You got to figure they were going to come out guns blazing and be able to do their thing. You figured they were going to be out there and they were going to be pretty much bringing everything they possibly could. This was their first time being unopposed since September, if you think about it. Even August. I think if there was even a Monday night game in August. So you knew WWE was going to be doing what they needed to do to try to get some eyeballs on Raw 2 weeks before Royal Rumble. This is their biggest time of the year. It's really kicking into full swing now. And so why not take advantage of it? A lot of the big shows haven't even came back yet to network television. So let's give you guys the 411 if you did not tune in. Braun Strowman is off of the Royal Rumble, which means his match with Brock Lesnar is also off. No Universal title match for Braun Strowman. I'll get into how that all unfolded today during the show. And then the other big thing on the show is that his replacement is Finn Balor. Finn Balor was named the #1 contender tonight. Won a four-way between himself, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and John Cena. Again, we'll get into the entire show kind of top to bottom in a sec. I'm just giving you guys the 411 if you feel like, hey, was it worth me checking out? What did I miss? I'm giving you guys that. And then the other big story, the other big part of the news here of the show was that Bobby Lashley is your brand new Intercontinental Champion. There's a triple threat match on the show tonight. It was Bobby Lashley against Dean Ambrose against Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley won that match and is your brand new Intercontinental Champion. His first Intercontinental title reign since coming to WWE. I mean, granted, he hasn't really had that long of a run between his two runs, but he's been there a couple of years, and it's his first Intercontinental title reign. So Bobby Lashley, your new Intercontinental Champion. So let's break down the show here. I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea of how everything went down. Show started out. Limo shows up. They start to do that long pan as only WWE can do when they kind of zoom in down on the limousine there. And of course, they open up the door. It's revealed to be Vince McMahon. Vince is coming in because remember now, all of the McMahons are still technically running Monday Night Raw. So Vince comes in. He's doing his usual Vince McMahon strut into the arena. And in doing so, he passes by the limousine and notices a schmudge there, and he makes the driver pick it up and wipe off the little schmudge that's on the limo. He's being usual Vince McMahon. And then this immediately cuts to Braun Strowman. He comes out. He says that he's going to destroy Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's going to get these hands. Everyone's really behind him. Seems like, I was really going into this thinking they've got to give him the title. If they don't give Braun Strowman the title now, it's done. If they don't give Braun Strowman the title now, then 3 years from today, we'll be sitting here Watch Along Wrestling, and I'll be going through all the many ways WWE dropped the ball with Braun Strowman and how they had so many opportunities and nothing worked out. But curveball, what they instead did, they had brought Baron Corbin come out and kind of, provoke Strowman and get Strowman to kind of chase him to the back. Strowman chases him to the back. He can't find Corbin. Corbin disappears. He kind of looks off in the limo and thinks maybe something's fishy with the limo, but he doesn't really know. He keeps looking around for Corbin. Ends up bumping into the Singh brothers, destroys one of them. But one thing I did really enjoy is if you are a mark for like kind of how everything is all set up, like myself, with how everything kind of is put together, what they did was when they showed Strowman chasing Corbin down through the arena, one of the things I thought that was really cool about this was they had Strowman chase Corbin all the way backstage. So you saw him go through Gorilla, and you saw how it's all set up there, because you saw catering and all the guys that were still at catering. And who's there but the Singh brothers? One of them, Corbin, literally picks up and Strowman literally picks up, launches over the table, and wipes out one of the Singh brothers. Might have been, I believe it was Sunil. But that would play into the show a little bit later on. So anyway, eventually Elias shows up. Strowman is there with Elias. Elias reveals that Corbin is in the limo. So this pisses off Strowman. He is not happy at all. He goes down there now. He's just as angry as can be. Opens up the driver's door, smashes it open, takes the driver, throws the driver in the air, destroys the driver, goes over to where Corbin is, smashes the window out so the glass goes everywhere, rips the limo door off the side there, and tried to get his hands on Corbin, but Corbin runs away. As Corbin runs away, Vince McMahon comes back, sees his destroyed limo. We cut to commercial break. And when we get back from commercial break, who's standing there but Braun Strowman, who's now like trying to pick up the pieces, kind of trying to fit the door back onto the hinges of the limo. Vince McMahon is infuriated. Classic Vince, yelling at Strowman, tells him he owes him $100,000 to fix that door, which pisses off Strowman. He says the limo's not even worth $100,000. Vince says you're going to be a tough guy. Now it's $250,000. And Braun picks up the limo and throws it over onto its entirely, so like a 180 spin right onto the roof, crushing the limo in the process. A little hokey, a little over the top, but it's what made Braun Strowman famous. Remember, kind of what got Braun over was that whole deal with Roman Reigns, that I'm not finished with you, and tipping over the ambulance and doing that whole deal. So I think that's something that it was, really kind of helped Strowman establish who he is. And you know what? Maybe they need to get back to that, because he went from that guy who was destroying things and making up a whole bunch of issues for, running wild pretty much. And that's what got him over. The thing with the ambulance, ripping the door off, practically killing Roman Reigns each and every week. And even though it was hokey as all hell, even though it was unbelievable, it got Braun Strowman over as a monster. And now he's kind of a sugary babyface who's constantly Instagramming with the fans, constantly getting people to write things in, doing the whole get these hands deal. And he's super over as a babyface, but he's gotten away from what got him over in the first place, which is this crazy maniacal dude who's like a monster and someone you don't want to screw with. So I actually thought it was cool. This did lead to Vince McMahon taking away Braun's title match. Now, what I think, and the reports have been that Strowman wasn't cleared as of last week. Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Wrestling Observer Radio were actually saying that he wasn't cleared as of last week. And this is the same injury, if you remember, that kept Braun out of the TLC pay-per-view. So he's still dealing with the same injuries from that pay-per-view, which begs the question why WWE was so convinced that he'd be able to recover, that they built up a big match for TLC, and then they put him right in a huge match at the Rumble for the title, building so much around Braun Strowman. And now he's off the show again. So this is the second time they've had to change plans. The good news, though, is that when WWE is forced to change plans, they usually give you more than you bargain for. Case in point with Finn Balor, which we'll get into a little bit later on as we continue to go through the show. So in any event, this now led to a deal where they were kind of watching all of the talent in the back and going over and trying to get Vince McMahon's attention. They were all in the back. I actually like this. Everyone was back there. I think Apollo Crews was there. Kurt Hawkins was there. Even Kurt Hawkins was there trying to plead his case as to why he deserved a shot against Brock Lesnar. Dude hasn't won a match in 2 years. And then we saw it. Jerry Lawler comes out of Vince's office for no reason. They didn't build anything up around Lawler other than the fact they're in Memphis, so it got a huge pop. So good to see Jerry Lawler doing his thing. And then you saw No Way Jose just come by dancing. No Way Jose, the biggest geek on the planet of Earth. I love No Way Jose. I've been saying for years he should be the guy to open up every show while they're on the road. It clearly is not what WWE sees him. They've pegged him as a complete joke, a dude who doesn't care anymore about pretty much anything. He's out there dancing while everyone else is trying to get a title shot. So that's the bloom's off the rose if it hasn't already been when it comes to No Way Jose. So then you had a good tag match. Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey defeating Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. Now, I actually was hoping you'd go into the Rumble and get a straight-up match between Sasha and Ronda and be able to have these guys go and have like a match about respect, battle for honor, so to speak, for you Ring of Honor fans out there. But that wasn't, of course, it's not how WWE does business. A little miscommunication during a promo afterwards where Ronda basically said, you know, being able to make Sasha tap out is great. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be so cool to, that's going to be the biggest accomplishment of my career, which of course pisses off Sasha. Sasha gives a great promo. This really feels like it's the Rumble, so they're giving somebody else a chance to get a title shot with Sasha Banks. Done this many times, by the way. We'll look through the Rumble history, whether it be Bob Holly getting a title match at the Royal Rumble 2004, whether it be numerous guys getting title shots kind of out of the blue. Sasha Banks was not somebody who's really been in the title picture, but she's taking this run and being like, hey, I'm here to stay. I'm a big deal here, and I think that's great. I think that she should be somebody that the company really invests in and realizes they still have somebody in. And I think that she had a great promo tonight, really kind of transformed back into that boss character, that a little bit of that heel, a little bit of that swagger that made Sasha Banks who she was when she was down in NXT. So I thought that was really great and added to their match at the Rumble, which to me, I'll be honest, that match right now is the match I'm looking most forward to, is Ronda and Sasha Banks at the Rumble. So now this leads to Vince McMahon coming out, grabs the mic. Immediately after he does, John Cena runs out there. Now, I apologize. Let's rewind a little because I forgot about one thing that really ticked me off. They had the Revival come out against the Lucha House Party. Now, I don't know if they're just trying to screw with the fans who keep making. They know the fans want to see the Revival get a push. They know this. They have to because they've made mention of it. Corey Graves doesn't shut up about it. Everything they talk about is injustice. So I do think this might have something to do with storyline. But literally in the middle of their match, they cut backstage from the Lucha House Party and Revival match. They cut backstage to have to get interviews with members of the roster as to why they think they should get the title match with Brock Lesnar. So you got an interview with Apollo Crews. You got an interview with Kurt Hawkins. EC3 made a cameo, and I think he just stood there and threw up his 3, and I think that was the end of him. That's his debut on Raw. So it was weird, but at the same time, it was cool to see everyone doing that. I just hated that they made the Revival and Lucha House Party scene completely irrelevant. I mean, Kalisto's going for the Cruiserweight Championship at the Rumble, and to cut away from that match to do a backstage segment felt like when you watch an old free-for-all in like 1996, and you'd have your preliminary matches that nobody could possibly care about. Basically, just they'd cut away and they'd go backstage and show a video package hyping the pay-per-view. There's no reason for it on Raw. You have 3 hours. Give us a freaking match between the Revival and the Lucha House Party. Or don't book it. If you just want to do a segment where we keep getting interviews with people saying why they deserve a title match, that's fine. But don't put it on during the match and make it seem like a total throwaway. So that kind of ticked me off a bit. But at least Vince McMahon, he comes out there. John Cena immediately interrupts. Cena has a good promo talking about how all these other guys have left, and Cena has always been there for Vince McMahon. He's been there time after time. Vince has given him chance after chance. He's never let him down, and he wants Brock Lesnar at the Rumble. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really thinking Cena off the top of my head. I originally had thought it was going to either be Rollins or McIntyre. I actually thought they'd just find a way to shoehorn Braun back into the role. Cena, though, a match between Cena and Brock, I thought would have been fine. As a one night kind of throwaway deal. So I had no issue with that. I thought that was fine. And but it ends up where McIntyre comes out. He demands he wants a match. Out comes Baron Corbin, who says he wants the match. And then finally out comes Finn Balor. Not only does he say he wants the match, but he says that Vince McMahon's never believed in him. He says that the fans always have, though, and he deserves this match. He wants Brock Lesnar. And Vince is like, nah, I don't know, Finn. You're okay, but you're not getting Brock Lesnar. So Vince basically says, yeah, I don't believe in you. I think you're a joke. Is basically what Vince McMahon's attitude was towards Finn Balor. But whatever. I thought it was well done. I really did. Good segment. And then McIntyre lays out everyone. He's standing tall. Vince ends up making the 4-way as your main event. So I thought they did a really good job in building the anticipation throughout the show. You have the hook right off the bat with Strowman. Then you have building up this segment where Vince comes out and he's going to make the announcement as to who gets the #1 contender. That hooked you there. And then once he does come out and makes the fatal 4-way, It hooked you there. So you made you stay and evolve. Like, I'd be surprised to see where the ratings go with this. If the ratings end up where people are tuning out, that's not good, because they actually, in my opinion, did a really good job getting you hooked to stick around and see where it can go. And it was very clear that they knew the fans wanted to see Finn Balor in this match. Seemed like a lot of people are wanting the Demon versus the Beast. I don't think we're going to get the Demon versus the Beast, because the Demon's undefeated in WWE. So I actually think you're going to get regular guy Finn Balor, and he's not going to beat Brock. Sorry, but I really don't think he is. But again, you know what? This is the Rumble. They can give people matches like this, and just hopefully Brock's motivated and they have a really good match, because I think they could tear the house down if they're given time. Moving right along, the next thing on the show that they ended up doing. Oh, by the way, just quickly, I have to make mention. It was a little annoying to see that all of those guys that were standing outside of Vince's office were not out there. Apollo Crews was the first guy there. He was the one who was showing how much he really wanted this match. And he doesn't even come out there when Vince is out in the ring. It's completely ridiculous. So very weird segment. The fact that you didn't have, it should have been everybody running out there and make a battle royal for everyone in there. Get you ready for the Rumble. You even had your segment where everyone's in the ring going crazy, so you could put that in the video package for the Rumble. Didn't happen. It's kind of weird, but in any event. Yeah, so then moving right along, they had set up a thing backstage earlier when Sasha and Ronda were kind of at odds with each other, where basically Natalya was with Ronda, Bayley was with Sasha. They were trying to keep them apart, and the Riot Squad showed up and basically challenged Natalya and Bayley to a tag match. They reluctantly agreed, and the Riot Squad said, if you can find a third partner. Pretty obvious if you've been paying attention, this is where this was going. They ended up doing a deal where Nikki Cross made her debut. And I love Nikki Cross, and Nikki was great. She came out unorthodox. Nikki's the type of person that, if you remember when they made the announcement for the WWE Evolution Women's pay-per-view, Nikki came out there and was still in character, just going crazy, going completely into bananas. And I thought that she did a really good job here as well, doing that. You know, she was outside the ring, she was going nuts, and I thought that she did a really good job in kind of maintaining that psychotic type of character that she portrays until the end of the match. Because when she did get the win, had a strong debut, what happens? But she grabs hands with Natalya and Bayley, and they're putting their hands in the air, and everyone's celebrating the big win. I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't do anything for me. I'll be honest. No reason Nikki Cross should be celebrating with Bayley. No thanks. But that's just a little nitpicky thing, I guess, for me. So moving right along, from this point forward, Jinder Mahal showed up. Jinder made some good points. You know, the best part of a heel is when a heel goes out there and does his deal where he gets all excited and actually makes sense. And he came out and he basically told Vince, hey, why am I not being considered for this? He said, I was champion for a year. I never got my match with Brock Lesnar. I won the U.S. title at WrestleMania. I was in the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. Like, I should be there. And honestly, he has a much bigger reason as to why he should be in the Fatal 4-Way than Baron Corbin does. But instead, Vince says, all right, you know, Vince was angry at first, said, why weren't you out there? He explained that Sunil Singh had been destroyed. So he was back there attending to him. Vince said, okay, I'll give you the match, but you're going to have to face Finn Balor. You beat Finn, you're in the Fatal 4-Way. Which gave some people a scare, but Finn took care of Jinder. I thought Finn and Jinder had a good match. They've had so many matches at this point, but they actually have developed really good chemistry. I was there for their first match where Jinder, accidentally gave Finn Balor a concussion at Nassau Coliseum a couple years back, and that wasn't good at all. But these guys have really developed a good little rapport. I thought they had a good match. This was one of Jinder's more stronger matches. I really did, and good stuff. So that's basically that. I liked it though. I thought it was good stuff, and thankfully Finn won. So Finn stayed in the Fatal 4-Way. Moving right along, this led to triple threat match. Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush defeating Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Good little match. Honestly, I know a lot of people are like, "Ugh, Bobby Lashley." Lashley gets a lot of hate from folks. A lot of people don't like Lashley, but I actually think that his deal with Lio Rush has done pretty good for him, giving him that little bit of a boost in character. I think Lio over the top is fantastic, and I also like that Leo's starting to show some of that athleticism. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster, and At some point, he's going to get to show it, and it's cool that he's able to show some of that athleticism to be able to get away from the guys that he's, causing some trouble for in helping out Bobby Lashley. You saw that with some of the stuff he did with Seth Rollins tonight. So Bobby Lashley, Intercontinental Champion, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be over the top between him and Lio Rush now that Lashley is your Intercontinental Champ. I hope they do some footage of them celebrating on Beale Street all night long. I mean, there should be stuff. They should interrupt your WWE Network feed with footage of Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush celebrating until 3 in the morning, partying up and down Beale Street, and with the Intercontinental title, posing for photos. That's the type of stuff they should go above and beyond with. I'd love to see it. They probably won't, but it'd be cool. Next up, there was a segment a lot of folks aren't happy about, where basically Alexa Bliss had her deal where it was the moment of bliss with Paul Heyman. Stagehand knocked on the door to tell Alexa Bliss she was ready to go. And then Alexa was standing there topless and had her hands over her breast, covering up that part. And the stagehand was kind of quivering, closed his eyes. The announce team looked absolutely horrified, and I'm not sure why they did it. It felt weird. It felt like completely out of place with everything WWE's been doing with the women's evolution. Felt like we kind of, for a second, took 10 steps back. Back in the Attitude Era, you'd see that all the time. That would be standard fare, but we're a long way away from the Attitude Era, so didn't fit in with what they were trying to do. Now, I know some folks will say what they're doing with Mandy Rose on SmackDown is similar, but at least there's a story behind that. There's a reason why she's there. She's kind of using her sex appeal clearly to try to get into Jimmy Uso's head to get after Naomi and further their feud. So that is, at least there's reason for it, but there's no reason for this. It was bizarre. It was weird. Didn't work for me. But it was what it was. Next up, Moment of Bliss with Paul Heyman. Alexa Bliss came out and revealed the tag titles for the women. It was one of the deals that they basically said that the Women's Tag Team Championships are going to be decided inside of the Elimination Chamber next month in Houston with 3 teams from Raw and 3 teams from SmackDown. I thought the belts looked cool. The crowd could not have cared less. I mean, they really just didn't care. There was not much of any sort of reaction. But I will say at least they didn't unveil the belts at the event, because if they did, who knows if this would have been a major detractor from the actual segment with what we saw with the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. So you don't want that. So it makes sense to kind of keep where we're going with this. All right. Next up, main event time. Oh, yeah, so then she had Paul Heyman out there. He basically said, doesn't matter who it is. It was what it was. And, it basically was a nothing segment. He basically put over McIntyre, put over Cena, and was about to talk to Corbin, which ended up with the debut of Otis Djokovic and Tucker Knight. They ran out, grabbed him, and it was just kind of abruptly ended from there. I love Otis. I think Otis has a ton of spirit. Heavy Machinery are a good little team down in NXT. I hope that they do something with them. Seems like all of the NXT guys, all of them had a little cameo at least tonight. You had the debut of Nikki Cross. You had EC3 shown backstage. You had the deal with, obviously, Heavy Machinery there. The only one you didn't see was Lars. Obviously, there's some stuff going on with Lars and some kind of issues he's been having that have been reported, and nothing's been reported officially from WWE. So we won't really get into that. Hopefully, Lars is okay, though. So, yeah, Heavy Machinery got to make a little debut there. It was fine. Then as for so then Finn Balor's walking backstage. He kind of bumped into he as he was going back there, he kind of did his thing. They showed him kind of backstage there, and he was coming to the ring. So that set up our main event. It ended up being Finn Balor, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin. I thought they had a really good match, and they really tore down the house. They got a little type deal where everyone was chanting, "This is awesome." People were really into it, and I thought that they all looked strong in the match. They really did. I thought everyone got a little chance. Baron Corbin, a lot of people hate on the guy. I think that he did a good job, and they did a deal where I thought that Cena really put Finn Balor over strong. Finn Balor got the win, coup de grace, clean, middle of the ring over John Cena. Cena's been putting over everybody, though. So I'll be honest, I really expected that it was going to be Corbin to take the fall. But when it was Cena, I wasn't too surprised. It was one of these deals where it was like, okay, for my liking, I don't like to see Cena take every single fall, because after a while, even though he's John Cena, him losing all of the time, and at this point he's put over everyone from Nakamura to Roman Reigns to everybody it seems he has a match with. He loses. He basically puts the guy over clean, and John Cena's a legend. I feel like he shouldn't necessarily be doing that. So I don't know what that does for John Cena and for what he can potentially do if he's putting everybody over. One of the main reasons I think AJ Styles got over so strong was because you had a years-long build of Cena getting the better of all these up-and-comers. Rusev, Bray Wyatt, even Kevin Owens he ended up getting the upper hand on. So that by the time AJ came out and beat him straight up, it was like, holy crap, and AJ was a made guy at that moment. So I thought that was really good. Good stuff. And it was interesting to see all the NXT call-ups. Every one of them was brought up to Raw. I thought there'd be some on SmackDown. So like all of them were on Raw. I don't know if it's just kind of a talent issue at this point, or maybe they're bringing Lars on SmackDown now because they didn't have him on Raw. But all of them, even Lacey Evans was seen in the back there. So it was really cool to see. It was an interesting Raw. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the show if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, hey, Finn Balor put over strong, and it seems like they're really behind him. So hopefully they go with him. I don't expect him to win the title at Royal Rumble at all. But hopefully he has a good showing, and hopefully they continue to go with Balor from here. He's somebody who I think they were really getting behind in the summer of 2016 that unfortunately got injured in his match with Seth, and he's never fully gotten back to that point. So hopefully this is a chance for Finn Balor to get up there and continue to do what he does. So we'll see. In any event, this has been Tommy on the Spot, Watch Along Wrestling. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed our little recap, reaction, review, whatever you call it, of WWE Monday Night Raw. We'll be back tomorrow with one of these deals about SmackDown. And until next time, everybody, have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Take care.